So it has been 1 month since I purchased a SurgeTrader $50,000 account Audition, and I want to talk about my experiences so far. First things first, here is my account dashboard. You can see that I have the 50K. It is the intermediate account. That's why it says intermediate Audition, and I'm using MT5, MetaTrader 5, as my, I guess, platform of choice in trading. So you can see that I am down today a bit on my balances, and I am currently sitting at about 17% of the way to my target of $5,000 in profits in order to achieve or to earn a funded account. Now, there's some good and then there's also some bad, but it really depends upon what you're looking to get out of one of these prop firms. And so SurgeTrader for me, I'll walk you through why I got into SurgeTrader. I was looking to make the switch from options to trading shares. And when you look around, a lot of prop firms these days, or at least now, they just don't really offer the ability to trade shares, stocks, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, a lot of these prop firms, they cater to Forex, they cater to futures, they cater to even crypto as well, but you're not going to see people looking to trade shares. And to be honest, I have found that many times that's where I have an edge. And so I don't want to change my style to trade something brand new and learn whatever that market is like right now when I have something that I know can work when I'm trading shares. And I went from the options space feeling like I am just getting absolutely screwed on a lot of these option plays with theta decay and this and that. And I'm like, if I just had shares, I buy it here or I sell it here. And if it goes this way or this way, it either hits my stop loss or my take profit, and I walk away with a green or a red trade. Whereas option world, it was like, well, maybe it could go in your direction, but you could still lose. And you're like, enough of that. Or eating away theta decay and whatnot, eating away at gains. You do that enough and you're like, yeah, I think I need to make a switch. And so that's why I made this switch. Now, SurgeTrader just so happens to be one of a few. Maybe that, and hopefully that changes in the near future so that there's more competition. But one of the few prop, accounts that allows you to trade shares or CFDs, and more so it's CFDs. But essentially, it's the same idea. You're not worrying about options and whatnot. I can trade Tesla, I can trade Apple, Amazon. Actually, there's a lot of stocks that you can trade, many, many more where that came from. But there are some concerns. Now, I want to get into those concerns here in a second for my example, but I do want to also talk about other things that would probably relate to someone looking to get into SurgeTrader or a different prop firm, why you come to this video in the first place so you can get some good information and move on to make your decision. The good is that they actually recently upgraded this dashboard, and so it's pretty straightforward. It's not very confusing. The rules are pretty straightforward. And when it comes down to it, I can see a lot of information in here, right? I can see how many trades I've won, how many I've lost, average winner, average loser. These numbers are not the best. However, there was a lot of test trades in there, which is kind of what throws that off to a degree. But our profit factor is 1.42, meaning that we've got a profitable system. You've got some good stuff in here. We have program rules right here, so at least you know exactly where that's got to be. We have our daily loss limit. We're not even close. We're 6% of the way there, so we're not even close to that. We have some soft breach rules, and then you have your trade logs down here. So they've done a pretty good job to make it pretty straightforward in terms of you figuring out how this thing works, how to get in here, how to get out of here, and understand what exactly is going on inside of your account. On top of that, there is plenty of leverage, and I have a 50K account. I have no problem buying, I don't want to say as many shares as I want, but I also will trade futures here and there if I'm looking at the S&P or the Russell or the NASDAQ, something like that. Maybe even crude oil, which I did get into. Depends upon the chart setups that I see. So I'll play futures. I'll play other markets. I won't just play shares, but I have not had an issue at all with leverage. Now, I also will say I am somewhat responsible when it comes to this. A lot of people come to these accounts because they want access to money that they don't have, and then they want to use that to get funded as fast as possible and make $20,000 a month like that. The reality of trading that I have come to learn over the years is that that's just not how it works. I don't have daily profit targets, monthly profit targets. Like, things could change. We could have an amazing run for 3 months, and then it could be shit for the next 2. And as long as I manage my risk in those 2 and things are not aligning, the market's not as clean for my strategy, it's okay, because I probably could make good money in those first 3, right? So that's kind of my mindset, where a lot of people think that they got to come in every single day and, throw, risk 1,000 to make 2 and hit your goal or hit your profit target within a couple of days, or else it's not worth your time. Not at all how I do things. I wanted to make the switch from what I was currently trading option-wise to shares or CFDs and just to equities, right? Make that switch as seamless as possible without drastically increasing my risk and my rewards. So a lot of my profits on trades this past month have been pretty similar to what they would have been if I was trading options, like very similar sizing. And then as I go, I could slowly scale that up, because I'm not really at risk of hitting any of the downside rules unless I was to go on probably a 1 month like red streak. Is based on how I manage my risk. I'd have to have a pretty bad month, like a really, really bad month. Worse than it would have to be bad. It would have to be back to when I had no rules, no strategy, like that type of level, which I haven't done in like a year. So a lot of people come into this with that approach. And I think that is a good way to lose and to end up having to retry. So for me, it's not a problem, but just something to keep in mind. I will also mention, in terms of emails, communication's been pretty good. I haven't had a ton of really complex questions. The emails were kind of cut and dry, simple. But outside of that, basically, when they explain things to you, the emails that are like kind of already predetermined are like, here's how it works, here's what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. It's straightforward. It took like 2 seconds to figure it out. And it was like within 1 day, I was able to get my account, get my credentials, test out MetaTrader 5, because it was the first time I had to use, well, not the first time, but test out MetaTrader 5 live. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. I figured it out. So it was not that complicated. Now for the bad. Spreads. Now, I don't know if this is just because it's a demo account that they're using. So like when you go through the audition, you're not on a live account. Like they tell you you're on a demo account with the broker that they have. So this demo account that I have been using when it comes to trading just shares or CFDs, at minimum on most of the stocks I trade, you're talking about a 10-cent spread, which is not that big of a deal, right? No, not that big, right? If the bid is at, let's say on NVIDIA, it's a $460 stock, right? So a 10, 20-cent spread, not terrible. The higher the price, the bigger the spread, and the less volume, the spread can be larger as well at times. Now, the problem that I have with that is you can't limit buy and limit sell in between the spread and think you're going to get filled. No. If you are limit buying, you need to wait until the ask comes down to your limit price and fills you, and then you're immediately read by, whatever the sizing times, the midpoint of the spread or whatever. So, or maybe it starts to calculate by the bid. I think it does calculate by the bid, because you can't sell it unless the bid hits your target, right? So it's not the end of the world, but you just have to make sure you're aware of that. So if I'm buying in on a position, I need to make sure that I understand I market buy right now. Cool. I could set a limit buy, but we would need to come down to that price. The ask needs to come down to that price to get filled. And then vice versa on the sell side. If I was limit selling to get in, to get out, whatever, I have to make sure the bid comes up to that price. So like it would potentially look like the stock or whatever has gone higher than that price, and I'm still not out. But once the bid gets there, boom. So you have to just adjust those sells and those buy orders to make sure that fits, what you're doing. And then what I found is that logically, if that's the case, well, then it doesn't really make sense to be scalping on the 1 minute chart. Not that I have been, but it has caused me to play less 5 minute charts, more 30-minute charts, more 1 hour charts, more 4 hour charts, which actually has been a good thing. So it's not a bad thing. But when you're playing bigger picture charts, a 10-cent spread doesn't matter. But sometimes the spread can be 20 cents, could be even 50 cents I've even seen on some stocks. So keep that in mind, but that sucks. And maybe that changes, and I'll update you in the future. Maybe that changes once you go to a live account, but on the demo account, not the best. So it makes it that much harder in the audition phase. Now, I haven't traded every single asset class. I don't know how exactly this, translates to other asset classes, but I know when I'm playing stocks, the spreads are something that you have to take into consideration. The other part that kind of sucks is the trailing drawdown rule. So if I were to come back into this account, right, you have the max trailing drawdown limit, total max, like these numbers, as I increase my account, so my high water mark was 51,072. So as I increase my account, like these trailing drawdowns will also inch up. So I can't lose 8%. Now, I could literally get my account to $54,999.99, be like 1 cent shy of hitting the $5,000 profit target goal, okay? And then go on a 2-month red streak or whatever, and then drop my account by 8% from there, I'm out. I now have to redo the audition, pay again. I believe they give you a 20% discount, but still pay again and then redo it. So that piece does suck. However, they just recently, as I'm filming this video, have come out with a 2-step audition. So the one that I'm using is straightforward, right? You got to get 10% in profits. You can't lose more than 5% of your account in a day, and you can't draw down 8% from wherever the high water mark of your account is in however many, it doesn't matter how many days. You can't draw down that much. So that has changed. They have new rules where it's a 2-phase audition and there's no trailing drawdown. It's a hard stop on the drawdown. So maybe the drawdown, let's say it's 8 or 10% or even 5%. If you make a couple $1,000s, let's say in my case, if I made $4,999, my drawdown is still going to be, let's say 8% from the $50,000 initial starting balance. So then I have all that cushion that I've bought myself essentially so that I could go on a big losing streak. To me, not a big deal because of the way that I manage risk, the way that I'm trading this account. Like I shouldn't draw down that much anyway, but to someone else, that is important. And maybe the 2-step process is a better audition process for you, but now they have that option. So that's a good, it starts off as a bad thing, but it becomes a good thing with a new 2-step audition. So that's my experience so far with SurgeTrader. I know that for me, this was the broker, or this was like the platform or the prop firm of choice because of the abundance of stocks I could trade, or CFDs, right? For someone else, there's other ones out there that may fit you better. Again, read through a lot of the FAQ, read through a lot of the details of these accounts, and figure out what works best for you. If you want to check out SurgeTrader, I'll leave a link to them down below. It is an affiliate link. It supports the channel, supports the video. And I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Hope it was helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.